On today's episode, the Adrenaline CEO Casey Huke joins Ryan to talk football genius. Don't miss episode 120 of the Noob Sports Show.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Newpel, and welcome to the Noob Sports Show. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Noob Sports Show. I'm your host, Ryan Newpel, here with you once again. Hope you guys are all having a great January and really getting back into the swing of things here as the new year has hit. Hey, today we have another special guest, as we always do, another guest with us today. We have the Adrenaline CEO, Casey Huke, with us. Casey, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to talk about what you have going on with Adrenaline and Football Genius and all of this great stuff that you have going on. So, yeah, man, first of all, how you hanging in there? How was your new year and how has your 2021 begin for you?
I'd say, 2021 has to be better than 2020. So we're excited for the new year. Ready to get things going. Excited for the continued NFL playoffs and sports to sort of come back to as normal as they can get.
Sure. 100%. And we're getting to that time here where football Super Bowl is coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm excited about that. Being in Florida myself, I may shoot over to Tampa and enjoy the festivities if I can do it safely. So that'll be a good time as well. Always a fun time around Super Bowl Sunday.
Definitely.
So looking forward to that. All right, well, let's dive right in. Give me a little bit about yourself, man. Where did you get started in this, crazy iGaming / betting industry? Before we get into your company and what
Sure.
you do, how'd you get started in this? And give me a little bit about your career path.
Yeah. So I've kind of been doing things related to this for about a decade, and it started in a much different place than where I am right now. About a decade ago, a close buddy of mine, who's actually currently on the staff at Penn State, he came to me and was just talking about all the issues that the big-time college football teams and NFL teams had, kind of analyzing all of the data that they needed to track about their players, their tendencies, all this stuff. So we actually initially created a company that, shorthand would be to try and create Moneyball for football, where this was software that we would go and sell to major colleges and NFL teams, and it would help them track all of the work that they did, everything from what they did in their practice, creating practice scripts, to grading their players, to analyzing videotape and doing tendency analysis and things like that. So that was really kind of how we got this ball rolling, and I was very, very fortunate to get hooked up to the Frank Beamer staff down at Virginia Tech very early on. And those guys really took me under their wing. It was Coach Loeffler, Searles, Nassau, all of these guys. They took someone that knew really little about what he was trying to do. And I was sleeping on their couches, doing 17-hour days with them in season for 2 years while we built this product. So it's been a wild journey to go from sleeping on a coach's couch in an office to where I am today. But we obviously, like all startups, there's fits and starts. Our major issue initially was that the shelf life for a coach is so short. It's about 2 years. So if we were trying to sell a pretty heavy piece of enterprise software, there's a limited number of teams, 32 NFL teams,
Sure,
75 colleges that can pay you anything. And then they would get fired after, a year or two, because it'd take a year to sell into it. So it was tough sledding, and we were kind of looking for a new avenue. And we thought we had, found kind of the holy grail a little bit in 2016, because the NCAA had a rule change. And a lot of people aren't aware of this, but college and NFL level, you're not allowed to have a computer in the stadium. Some people see the Microsoft Surface tablets on Monday Night Football or what have you, and think that they're kind of doing analytical work. That's really just a marketing thing for Microsoft. The only thing on those tablets is still photographs. So what was going to change in 2017 is that the NCAA was going to allow computers to be in the stadium for the first time.
Sure.
And what we were able to do, and we worked with some guys on the staff at Boston College in particular, Georgetown, a bunch of colleges had input into this, but we were creating a real-time tendency analysis. So the idea would be a coach could have a tablet on the sideline, and other coaches could be charting, kind of what the defenses and the offenses, what their opponents were doing, and they could get real-time analytics about what the other team was expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we were pretty excited about this product and ready to push it to the market. And, I think it was April or May of 2017, a few months before the season was going to start in August, the NCAA coaches got together again and they rebanned computers. So we had developed this real-time software that actually we were getting to a level where we could predict what a coach was going to call about 90% of the time correctly. And now we had no market.
Sure.
And it kind of left us scrambling, obviously, when you put time and energy and money. And it was like, well, what do we do? At about this time, I've had incredibly incredible good fortune, a lot of luck with what I've been doing, whether it was having a conversation with Scott Loeffler at Virginia Tech when I had, absolutely nothing. And he was like, yeah, come on down. But to this 2017, when I met Trent Baalke, who at the time was the former GM of the 49ers, and he's currently the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he saw a presentation that we had that described what our analytical software was. And he just wanted to learn more about it. And we started talking, and he kind of looped in a close friend of his, Trent Dilfer. And we started to discuss, what do we do with this product? And they joined me as partners into my company.
Cool.
And what we decided to do was, it was funny, this was before Tony Romo, but my initial thought was, man, I would kill for this tendency analysis to be on a television screen when I'm watching the NFL. Who wouldn't want to know, all right, the likelihood of a pass is this or run is this, and really have some, some numbers behind what was going on. And that was the initial thought was, well, maybe we can take this, get it to a broadcaster or someone like that, and we could start incorporating this data into live feeds. But as we discussed it, we kind of thought to ourselves, hey, man, how fun would this be to try and make guesses as a game, where you got the odds of something, odds of it being a run, a pass, a catch, what have you. And you and your buddies, you're watching the game anyways. What if you could, have a competition with them? And that was really kind of the genesis for what became Football Genius. We took this enterprise level coaching analytical software and we plugged it into a consumer app. And it, one of the things that we knew from the very beginning is that, hey, we're coming from an enterprise background. We're a startup. We do not have the marketing budget to really make this a huge play. But the idea was, could we get kind of a workable model into the market and see what the reaction would be, and then try and find partners or people that might want to license technology and things of that nature. So, again, we're very fortunate. We were able to bring in investors and advisors like Bill Parcells and Brett Favre and Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, and Trent and even Juju Smith-Schuster, has been helping us out with some of his online marketing. But we, took this kind of raw material and we're able to get a product and put it in the market. And now we've been doing, we've been kind of perfecting this technology over the last 3 years, really going as far back as 2016, if you're incorporating all the things we did for the coaches. So when the Supreme Court repealed the ban on sports gambling, again, I think I told you, I've been incredibly fortunate. I would love to say, I'm a genius that I get off, but I'm not. I'm sure it's very clear that I'm not a genius. We just lucked out, and a lot of the technology we work with, we patented. We know, I would say as much, or we probably know more about what it takes to offer in-game betting, play-by-play betting than anyone in America right now.
Sure.
There's some other people that are going down this path, and I think we see that this is going to be a huge piece of the sports betting puzzle. But what we are, have done is we put a game on the market. It's called Football Genius. It's in the Apple App Store. It's the first every play-by-play wagering game, quote unquote, that is available in the App Store. And we're just, again, trying to use it as a proof of concept, so that we hopefully can find the right partner and, bring this to a larger audience, because we really do believe that sports betting is going to be one, it's going to be skills-based games, and two, it's really going to go down the play-by-play world. I think you see in Europe where 70% of wagers are in game, and then you add in American sports like football and baseball and golf, where there is a cadence, where there's a discrete action. It stops for a moment. You can make a bet. There's a discrete action. So we really believe that is the future, and that's going to be the fastest growing part of an incredibly fast growing industry.
Well, I'll tell you what, Casey, you just made my job really easy. I mean, that was one of the most in-depth explanations of what's going on here that I've ever had from the beginning of the show. So, man, thank you for that. I have so much to comment on. I mean, first of all, congrats on just that path that you've taken. I mean, it's not easy to make those shifts as you're going through business, and there's always going to be, pivoting and things like that happening. But it sounds like you guys have went through progression after progression and just built on what you guys continue to, take out of each. I don't even want to call them failures. Nothing is a failure, but each you're learning. You're just learning, and you come to this, through all it all. It's a really amazing story, to be honest with you. And then you said something about, luck. I mean, I'm a true believer that, it takes super hard work to get lucky. I mean, you have to put yourself in the right position to get lucky. So I'm not a real believer in luck. I think it takes a ton of skill and a ton of work to get lucky. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I will, I'll balk at that a little bit for you. I'm not going to call you lucky in this business world. So great job on that. For sure. But let me ask, so let's get a little deeper into Football Genius, because I'm super intrigued, about the app and about how it works and all of that. And I'm sure the listeners, maybe who haven't played on it or haven't downloaded it yet, hopefully downloading it now are checking it out. But I'm curious. So is this a free to play game with prizes? Is this a entry fee type game? Tell us a little bit about how that works.
So currently it's a free to play game with prizes. And that's really, how we were able to get on the App Store. We're no one's risking cash. And the concept, and this was actually something that me and the Trents kind of agonized over. On a play, it's pretty clear what you're doing, right? Like, you're going to risk some amount of money or points or whatever, and you're going to get some return back. But we were thinking, if you can't really bet real cash, how do you make a game out of this? And how do you do it, where it's not like whoever gets the most plays right in a game wins, right? Because that's 3 hours where someone would just be plugging away. And we're like, no one's going to do that. And it was actually, Trent Dilfer was the one that was like, well, the average drive is about 5 to 6 real minutes, real life minutes. And what if we did every drive? And what we kind of narrowed it down to is we actually do where whoever gets the most plays right in a drive wins money, and whoever gets the most plays right in a quarter wins a little bit more money. Sure. So we broke these things down into smaller and smaller contests to try and make it so that people didn't feel like they had to just devote their weekend or their night to playing this game.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty effective. The divisional round, the average person on our app played for 2 hours. So the engagement was off the charts. I would expect, if we got the right partner, and we're in discussions with people, Obviously, I can't talk too much detail about it, but the idea would be that it would be more that people would, buy into this thing, and maybe you'd have a 50-50 outcome, or maybe it would just be like, hey, Ryan and Casey put in $10 each,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the driver's quarter, however the length of time you wanted it to be, winner gets the cash. Because I really do think that that's going to take it to the next level, where free to play is great, and it's great to test your technology,
Yep.
make sure it works, make sure that you're integrating with Sport Radar correct, all the things that you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the real money gambling, I think, is the future for all this stuff.
For sure. It's definitely coming faster than slower. I mean, it is here, and it is going to continue to grow, this whole sports betting industry over the next 5 years, I think, at a rapid pace. So I think you're onto something with that. So tell me a little bit, obviously we talked in the beginning, big games coming up, Super Bowl at the time of this recording, I think is in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. What do you guys have planned around the Super Bowl? Anything big, or is it just, standard football genius as usual with one game? Tell us a little bit about the Super Bowl time.
Yeah, so we'll be increasing the prizes. We'd love to have a massive prize, but we just aren't in a capital position to start doing that.
Sure.
But it really is, it's trying to drive users to a certain extent, and it's more about testing engagement than it is. Again, we don't have a marketing bullhorn that's going to reach up and down the East Coast and West Coast to have 1 million people playing it. So we're really just trying to get people to play it, and then really hoping to get feedback from them, whether it's a survey or a tweet or anything that they can offer us that can help us improve our product, because that is one of the major focuses of what we're trying to do. We know a lot about in-game gambling, but there's so much to learn. And, whether it's, I would say one of the biggest hurdles that's out there, it's a technology limitation on the TV side. What happens in real life, best case scenario, your TV shows an 8 seconds delay. And if you're watching, some of these other direct TV, for instance, you could be 5 minutes behind what happened in real life, depending on where you are. It's a huge problem. So it really does affect the quality of making in-game bets. So I actually think that, not that you asked, but just while I'm talking,
no, sure.
I actually think that in-game betting initially is really going to be an in-stadium experience kind of thing.
Yeah, where you're watching live with your own eyes. Exactly.
So, I think hopefully there were partnerships with leagues and teams, and they're going to be able to recognize that. I think streaming video services, YouTube TV, those guys are going to be in a real dangerous situation if they don't get their latency down.
Yeah.
Because I do think that this is going to drive a lot of action, a lot of people watching sports, and they're going to, go to whoever has the fastest feed. You almost wonder if the casinos, I don't know, this may be apropos of nothing, but I do know that there are some lagless feeds that are used by some of these major league, basically the NFL and Major League Baseball, all these things. You'd think that they could sell those lagless fees to casinos, and people could go to the casinos to make in-game wagers, and it would just drive traffic to the casinos. It would, drive business to the leagues. You think it would be a circle that could be pretty lucrative for some people.
Yeah, that's certainly such an important area when you're talking about live betting, and with technology and that always changing and growing. There's certainly going to be some issues and some changes and some opportunities for some companies to really capitalize on that, whether it be on the TV side or the casino side or whatever. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's something people don't think about a lot, but when you're in the in-game betting space, you really have to worry about that latency, because it's drastic. It's a game changer. It definitely changes how you play any type of in betting. So
Yeah.
Very interesting point. I appreciate that for sure. Off topic, who do you got in the Super Bowl? You have a team that you're cheering for, or that you think's gonna, we're down to the final four teams right now, but who you
Well,
picking?
the Saints being out of it,
Mm,
that's who I had.
that gotcha. Ah,
That was that's But I'll be honest, I love Mahomes. I
yeah,
just like everything
class
about him
act.
seems
Yep.
great. So
Hmm.
I really hope that Kansas City pulls it off again. And I grew up a diehard Skins fan, and
Nice.
there was always some kind of I don't know, connection to the Chiefs.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's they've always been kind of an AFC team that I've appreciated, and now they have
Sure.
kind of the most dynamic player. It's pretty easy to root for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It should be a fun time. Should be a lot of. I think all four teams that are left are solid. I think we have some great quarterbacks here, and then I don't know, I'm not a Bills fan, but somehow I'm becoming a closet Bills fan all of a sudden. I've like been gravitated to them all season. I don't really know why. Just
Yeah,
something about them makes me happy that they're succeeding,
I,
and
I can relate to that. Just kind of a
yeah,
blue collar,
yeah.
like they it's not like they've almost had to earn everything they got. So you
Yeah,
can
you just kind of
appreciate
feel that way. You feel proud to like, okay, good. The Bills,
that.
good job. So we'll see though
Yeah.
if they can keep up with Kansas City. It'll be an interesting weekend for sure. So let's get back on track here. So um with all the people listening here, we probably have quite a few sports betting professionals and just people in this iGaming space, listening to this. What kind of needs do you have, or what do you want to ask of the people listening? I mean, is there something you're looking for? Maybe some area in business that you need some help in, that maybe somebody listening could offer some sort of help. Anything there that you want to say, just to the listeners flat out?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that opportunity. I would say we are constantly in the business of searching for partners.
Mm,
We understand that I think we've got a lot of strong raw materials. Getting it to kind of the finished product and the finished company is where we need help going. I
sure.
wouldn't expect that we would be a standalone resource just because we're limited with capital and resources and
Hmm.
things like that. But if there are people out there that believe in play-by-play betting the way that we do, we want to talk to them. We want to partner with them. We have
Mm,
everything from technology, code, to patents, to engineering expertise, because we have been doing this for years.
sure.
And it was just, like I said, happenstance. We certainly didn't have any insight into the Supreme Court. We just had a failed market, and we're just trying to find that next move. But I would say be hard pressed to find someone that's been doing more in real time
Yep.
sports betting longer than us.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Casey, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're a busy man and got a lot going on your plate here. So I guess one of the last things I'd say, just to everyone listening, I mean, what I'll say before you do it, but go out, download the Football Genius app. Where can they find it? I mean, is it just in the App Store? Is it you have a website? What? Tell people where they can find it, maybe how they can get a hold of you, kind of some of those contact channels, and we'll be sure to link it all up in the show notes. But let us know where we can find some of this stuff.
Yeah, great. So it's in the Apple App Store. We don't have an Android version yet,
Okay.
but it's also available at
Mm-hmm.
footballgeniusgame.com. And if anyone wanted to reach out to me, there's contact information on that website. So we would love to hear from anyone, and we're always looking to have more conversations about this, and it's always great to talk to people, even if it's not business related, that just kind
Sure.
of are interested in play by play, or interested in football. All these things really dovetail with why we're in this business.
Well, you're definitely in a cutting edge space. The live betting stuff is not going away, and it's only going to get better. So I think with you guys having that expertise and really just diving into that space, I mean, props to that. That's a great space to be in, and you can tell from the success you're having early, and then from some of the names and advisors you guys have that you truly are making noise in that space. So I just want to give you props for that once again.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and then thank you for your time and interest in inviting me
Sure.
on. This was great.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Well, that was the Adrenaline CEO, Casey Huke. Casey, thank you so much for joining me. I definitely appreciate it once again.
Thank you, Ron.
All right. And listeners, thank you for tuning in. This was a great episode. If you guys have any questions for Casey, be sure to reach out, get the Football Genius app. Let's get out there. Let's play some games. Let's have fun around this weekend's games and then also the Super Bowl. It should be a great time. So thank you all for listening. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Noob Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at noobsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's knupsports.com.